President's Keepers is alleging that former President Jacob Zuma, for the first 4 years of his presidency, did not file his tax returns and that he had also received a R1 million monthly salary for several months in 2009 without declaring this to tax authorities. SARS is taking Pauw to court after accusing him of transgressing the Tax Administrations Act by disclosing confidential taxpayers' information.
Well, for more on that Hawks raid, South African journalist Jacques Pauw, as we saw, his home was raided. We have on the line Kate Skinner. She's the Executive Director of the South African National Editors Forum, SANEF. Kate, thanks very much for joining us. Your thoughts and reaction, to the raid on Jacques Pauw's house, but I believe another journalist was also broken into at the same time, and we don't know whether they are related or separate incidents.
Yes, no, so I think just on the issue of whether these are related, I mean, it's actually hard to say whether they are related. Certainly there are a number of journalists, within SANEF who said, it might just be a very unfortunate incident and actually coincidence. And then obviously other people are saying, well, actually this is kind of it's worrying. So I think there's a kind of difference in opinion there. But I think what was very upsetting for SANEF was the sense of, we're in a new era. We've got Cyril Ramaphosa as our president, and so our understanding was that we wouldn't be seeing this kind of intimidation and harassment of journalists, and to have your house kind of searched, etc. It seemed to us that the timing was very curious. Really, we're kind of just into the new era. And we just have a sense that this gives a kind of a bad message that, in fact, journalists are be careful, that they shouldn't, necessarily report without fear or favour. And so that's where our position is coming from.
So the spokesperson for the Hawks spoke to us a day ago and said that this was in the normal course of an investigation, that the State Security Department had lodged a complaint, and it was incumbent on the Hawks to investigate what had been brought before them. Could it be that it was just them doing their job?
I mean, the issue is that we do need to look at that, further, and we are certainly going to be debating this at length because we've got a SANEF council which is happening on Saturday, and that particular issue will certainly be put on the table. But the reaction of journalists, the reaction of our members was one of kind of outrage, of like, well, why is this continuing? We've had such intimidation, in 2017, we had the SABC 8, we had the Black First Land First intimidation. And so, journalists were like, we were hoping that this was a new era. But absolutely, I mean, I think those issues will be debated, and the SANEF Council meeting on Saturday is the perfect place for us to discuss these issues in greater depth.
All right, perhaps finally, I guess as we start getting into what looks like going to be a long election cycle, I suppose it's good and important to make sure that the tone with regards to how journalists are protected, journalists are victimized, inverted commas, is put on the table and dealt with early.
Absolutely. I mean, I think you can't emphasize that more. I mean, the election period is an absolutely critical period. And that is, I think, what SANEF was putting very strongly on the table, saying, this period we must make sure that we protect journalists. Journalists must feel that they can go out there and investigate. And you're absolutely right. That's what we want to put on the table.
All right, Kate Skinner, we're going to leave it there. Thanks very much indeed. That was Executive Director of the South African National Editors Forum, SANEF, Kate Skinner, on the line. Kirshni?